Hyperbole, as pronounced by Julia Gillard. Hyperbole meaning extreme exaggeration. Rita, I think you've got a story for us.
Well, let's go to Merrick Garland, Attorney General.
Yes.
He's one of these men who says if you question anything, if you question this two-tier justice system that is very apparent in the US, well, you're a threat to democracy.
Some have chosen to attack the integrity of the Justice Department, its components, and its employees by claiming that we do not treat like cases alike. This constitutes an attack on an institution that is essential to American democracy.
So he's
What a
basically
joke. Come
now
on.
called about half the US population extremists who are threatening democracy, because all the polling shows that faith in these institutions is at record lows, and amongst Democrats, record highs. Amongst Republicans and independents,
They spent the entire Trump presidency
Pushing
with
a fake
Russian collusion
Which
hoax,
they knew
and they've
was
spent
fake.
the entire Biden presidency covering up for genuine scandals.
More than
How
that-
can there not be distrust in the institution?
More than that. I mean, let's go back to the very start. You know, the Hunter Biden laptop. A bunch, 51
Yes.
intelligence agents signed a letter saying, oh, this is Russian disinformation. Don't you go spreading that around. The FBI pre-warned Twitter that this was coming and said, dude, this is pre-Elon Twitter, and said, do not let this story get revved up on your site. Same thing to Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook. The FBI and the CIA conspired to control what Americans knew about this crucial story before the 2020 election. Come into the pandemic. What did they do? They did the exact same thing. Talked to people like Jay Bhattacharya, who we have had on this show many, many times. Again, they tried to squelch information. The whole thing is always, if you don't agree with the official narrative, you are either a Russia conspiracist, you're a Russian supporter, you're a COVID maniac, you're some sort of lunatic who wants everybody to get
democracy.
killed, and now it's a threat to democracy. It shows how desperate these people are, that all they can do to stay in power is attack the other half of the country.
But what they did before the 2020 election, by any definition, is election interference.
Completely.
Yeah, of course it was.
And it was about fortifying
And we know
the
from
election.
the figures that it could have changed the election.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and the polling shows once people actually learnt about this story,
Changed their vote.
they said it was a worthy story. This wasn't just about Hunter Biden, as we saw with that text message that James read out to us. This was always about the Biden family, and the fact that Hunter Biden was only able to do what he did because his father was Joe Biden. I mean, that is, and there was never any question that this laptop was real. They knew it was real, and they lied and lied and lied until the election was over. And since then, they've done their best to minimise the fallout.
And what they have done over and over again is they have gone and said, now, you know, there's an incredible piece of propaganda in the New York Times today by Nicholas Kristof, who's saying, oh, the only thing this is about is the fact that, you know, the Bidens have been hit with the curse of drug and alcohol addiction.
Oh,
Nonsense.
right.
Because the big question is, why was somebody who knows more about a crack pipe than an oil and gas pipeline getting millions and millions of dollars as an oil and gas consultant while his dad was vice president? Riddle me that, Batman.
But also, don't think we are immune from this sort of shenanigans going on here. We learnt recently that during COVID that the health ministry had been, you know, working with big tech, shall we say, to silence certain opinions that
Not just
happen
We've
here.
got the e-safety commissioner who
Yes.
has made some very disturbingly illiberal comments, coming out and wanting to punish Twitter for allowing free speech. And I think that is a reaction, in my opinion, to some of the dissent we're seeing on social media to The Voice.
It's absolutely.
And that
Of
it's
course
all
it is.
about...
Because the No campaign has got a very sophisticated campaign using social media. And, you know, the Yes campaign, they're going all the old school, oh, we'll get all the celebrities and the corporates, rah-rah, and people go along. People are much more sophisticated than that, and they're not falling for it.
Yeah, and the e-safety commissioner on virtually $500,000 or something or other, not a squeak out of her during COVID at all.